Well, I mean, it's not like there's any correlation between poverty and crime. It's not like one is the precursor to the other, and it's not as if they're choosing to do this. I mean, come on, they have agency, right? Do they not? Do they not have agency? Oh, come on now. No, it's up to them. What about their bootstraps, everyone? This was some really low-tier bait, but I figured it'd be fun anyway. Today, Sargon of Akkad, aka Robin Hood, aka the Greenwood Outlaw, made a little post trying to. It was low-tier bait, to say the very least. But what do you make of this data? Oh, sorry, I should. What do you make of this data? Vanche, the Serfs TV, Shoo, Ned, my lovely Shoo. Please come back to me, Shoo. So very lonely. So lonely over here. Lonely and cold. We need you, Shoo. Racism? And then it's little 1350. Little 1350 for everybody. We all know that men are much likely to commit murder than are women. A 6.7% greater rate per capita in 2019. But the stunning stat is that blacks are even more likely to commit murder than non-black, 8.2 times. What do you think of this? Holy shit. Holy shit, the stats are here. They've been revealed. We have 1350 before our very eyes. And to be honest, seeing as it is Sargon, I didn't really respond with the facts and the data and the figures. I kind of just did some low tier trolling and just responded with his Nick Fuentes post saying that it's pretty on brand for Sargon. It's pretty much the fact that, yeah, it makes sense that he's friends with Nick Fuentes and he's still doing this stuff. I will say this in response to these kind of statistics and figures, though. Nobody on the left denies the crime stats. That's not what people deny. We just ask usually the why, because we're curious about why these things occur, and also if we know why they occur, what can we do to ameliorate them or to stop them from happening. So say Sargon, because I know you're watching, good old chum. Say, for example, you came to me and you said, hey, I've got this book. I found out about this book because of Sam Harris. Sam Harris was hosting his podcast, and on that show, this delightful gentleman came on, and he started talking to me about how there's a curve, and there's this thing called IQ, and because of the intelligence quotient, we've gotten to learn what the IQs are between races, and why some races seem to have higher IQs than other races, which would then explain why there are such things as low test scores and why there's really bad results in schools and stuff. To which I would reply, all that data shows is it's indicative to me of what certain demographics are doing in the United States in terms of their performance when it comes to the conditions in which they're in. That's what's indicative to me. It's really highly demonstrable that because of redlining, historically, the black population of the United States has had to live in poor districts. Because of that, the money from their housing taxes goes towards funding their public schools, and their public schools, as a result, have been abysmal historically. That's just redlining. I'm skipping over everything else. I'm skipping over, systemic poverty. I'm skipping over historical racism. I'm skipping over all that stuff. But that would be a very, very quick indicator as to why IQ does not directly correlate. And if you want to imply that perhaps it's genetics, well, then we've crossed over into a very dark corner of the internet, which I'm being incredibly charitable and saying that you don't want to be a part of. But I think more and more it's kind of showing to me that, oh shit, you do. And his crime stats, by the way, weren't directly from the FBI site. It was from a person who hadn't linked to that FBI site as well. But again, if you want to talk a little bit about these kind of things, why they occur, we should look to this.
I think our criminal justice system is working as intended. It is only broken to the extent that our society is broken. If your intention is to, jail massive numbers of people, if you believe that prison is an effective means of dealing with the myriad social needs of the African American community, then it's pretty effective. In fact, there's a long history in this country of dealing with problems in the African American community through criminal justice system, criminalizing social problems in a way that we don't do in other communities. For instance, if you looked at the research, you would find that somewhere around 60 to 70% of the people in prisons and in jails are suffering some sort of mental health problem.
Did everyone know that? That's one thing I think we should bring up to Mr. Sargon of Akkad. Yeah, 60 to 7% of those in jail are suffering mental health problems. Could be indicative of something else going on.
Upwards of 50%, go in there dealing with some sort of chemical dependency.
Oh, what's that? Nearly half have drug dependence or abuse. Interesting. So it would almost see like these are social problems, that they should be addressed as social problems rather than criminal problems.
Viewed from another lens, these are public health problems. One could look at, the massive number of African American men who are out of work, and the intersection.
Well, I mean, it's not like there's any correlation between poverty and crime. It's not like one is the precursor to the other, and it's not as if they're choosing to do this. I mean, come on, they have agency, right? Do they not? Do they not have agency? Oh, come on now. No, it's up to them. What about their bootstraps, everyone? Do they not have the ability to get jobs? Why are they choosing not to have jobs? I ask you this.
Well, one could look at where prisons are located. And, you would find that a lot of times prisons are located in rural regions, where all other industries effectively shut down. And you might think of that.
Wait, so when all the jobs are gone and they can't get work, that same area fills up with for-profit prison systems, which then incarcerate all those people who, again, have overwhelmingly high amounts of drug abuse and mental illness problems. Interesting. Almost as if there's some kind of a cycle going on here.
The enduring view of African Americans in this country is as a race of people who are prone to criminality. I mean, literally, we have the notion of black people as, criminals written into our Constitution. We have a fugitive slave clause, which effectively makes all the things that are normal for any other American in that period illegal for black people. To pursue your own freedom was illegal. Slavery, was enforced by the criminal justice system, the slave laws. It made, very, very ordinary things like learning to read effectively a criminal act. Frederick Douglass is an escaped slave. He's a criminal. He's stolen his body, as he says in one of his speeches. Harriet Tubman, is running a massive criminal conspiracy, stealing people. I know we all love Martin Luther King today, but in his time, by, the highest powers in the American justice system, Martin Luther King was viewed as a criminal, by J. Edgar Hoover. Arguably, perhaps by,
yeah, but now we have the one quote. We got the one quote, so we're good now, right? We got to judge based on the content of the character. That's come on, that's Don't Tread on Me philosophy 101. And we must always remember him for the one quote.
The administration and the Johnson administration, I say that because they signed off on the bugging, of his home and, wherever he was. The lens of criminal justice is the way this country has traditionally regarded black people. I don't know that anything is broken at all. The deeper question is, are we okay with something on the order of 4,000 African-American males per 100,000 being in jail? Are we okay with that? Are we okay with, there being a 1 in 3 chance for every, African-American male born in this generation of eventually doing some sort of time in prisons and in jails? Are we all right with that? And that goes to the deeper question of, are we all right with black people in the position that they are in our society? Or do we have some sort of, long-term commitment to justice?
Well, I think the answer is they have to clean up their rooms.
Clean up your room. Clean up your room. When it comes to this serious business of sex, clean up your room.
That's all there is to it. Oh, sorry, link to the video? Yeah, I'll link to this. It was just a quick one by The Atlantic. There you go. It's lib shit. That's lib shit you can share. It doesn't talk about capitalism at all. You don't need to hear about the history of slavery and how for hundreds of years all that unpaid labor, where they were, of course, picking cotton in the South and doing textiles in the North, was enriching the white class, the dominant white superior class. That's a part that they'll skip over. I mean, you don't have to read about any of that in all the popular liberal literature. White fragility? Well, you better learn about white fragility, but don't learn about the systems that uphold it. That part's that's when it gets a little scary. Hey, we want to mutual aid you to get some eyeballs on your work. So if you have a leftist YouTube channel or Twitch stream or something you want us to advertise, just send us a 20 to 30 second ad using the forums at weareserfs.com. We'll do our best to help you out. And please submit once per channel.
To our God, I'm Raph. We pray at your altar of greatness. To our monarch, Thomas Bone, you are the light that guides our path. To our lords, Jeffrey Lamb, Trevor R., Stephen, Nine Tails Cosmic Fox, Hans Josephine, and Poppy Nelson, we bow meekly for your pleasure. To our Knights of the Round Table, Josh Mickelson, Dylan Byth, Alexander Thaler, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, Clement Chetska, Skybear Games, Moss Beast, Political Puppy, Ali Menthol, Jimmy Bignuts, Alan R., Andreas Chitoro, Good Poon Hates Cops, That's Solid Poon Then, Dr. Zayas, Joppy, Radiclu, Violent Orchard, and Sophie Baby, we salute you. And to our many merchants and farmers, thank you. Fuck you, Lance!